Hi guys, my name is Mary. I'm going to take you through a book review by Cornell Gichuki and it's called Shadows in the Mist. This book revolves around Mawazo High School where we find the main character who is Nguru. It has approached the closing day and then he unfortunately doesn't have the fare home. And then as he tries to figure out on how he can reach his home, Patrick, who is his close friend by then, offers to assist him with 300 shillings so that he can reach home. And then back at home, his father had been jailed before because he was a drug trafficker. And then his brother, who was the one who remains at home by that time, who was supposed to help her mother with the work, also had turned to be a drug abuse, and then he had also not only turned to be a drug abuse, but also he had become a drug trafficker too. And then most of the youths in the village had also turned to be drug abusers, and then they used to traffic drugs, all those stuff. And then he, on reaching home, her mother told him that he had given his brother some money so that he can bring in for him so that he can use for as his transport. Unfortunately, his brother disappeared with the money and then he didn't show up in the school. Back in the city, Patrick, who had his thirst for adventure, had been cancelled by his father because he was told that he was supposed to go and help his uncle in the shop by being a shopkeeper. He found a shopkeeper occupation being difficult, especially when working with a relative who is deeply in who is deeply doing who is deeply doing things like what Kinuthia used to do, like drug trafficking, while he was unaware, and then he was unable to raise the issue to his parents since he didn't have enough evidence. Later on, he comes to realize that that was a trap which was meant for Kinuthia to fall into, because it's at this time that Jacinta, who is police dealing with narcotics and the stuff doing with drugs, comes in the game, and then Kinuthia is arrested, taken to the police station so that he can help in doing the investigation, so to find those criminals who are used to recruit these young youths so that they can use them as drug traffickers. At this time, uh, back at home, Nguru had tried doing some farming, and then his brother had become a big issue to him, and he decides to write a letter to Patrick, his close friend. Though he didn't know whether Patrick can help, he just thought it was wise to inform him about how things they were going back at home. And then it turned out to be that Nguru had informed Patrick at the right time, and Patrick tells Jacinta, the officer, who uses Nguru and Nguru's friend Mwangi, who had initially had been his greatest enemy while they were in primary. And then Mwangi had also entered into drug trafficking, but after some time he rehabilitated and then he went back to school. I think I should advise people to read this book because it talks about the most thing which affects the youth right now in Kenya, like let's say drug abuse. And then not only does it affect, but it also advises us on how to choose wise friends who can, like people who can make our lives be, who can make our lives, who can contribute to our life positively. And okay, on that note, I think Nguru is my best character in this book because he doesn't fall into the trap. Although the whole village had entered into drug abuse, he stands firmly and he goes against the drug. He even he is ready to even point out his brother to the police so that at least he can reduce the drug abuse. Also, I like the fact that Jacinta, who is the senior police officer dealing with narcotics, he didn't took bribes, and they used to call him Iron Lady because whenever he decided to do a thing, he will make sure that he had done it perfectly, to an extent that he can sell her own colleague who used to be a drug trafficker to helping those who are doing the drug trafficking so that they are not caught in that trouble. I think at the end of the book, what Gishuki tries to tell us is that Jacinta was a person who was loyal to his work. She never wanted to take bribes from whenever he was doing his job. He loved his occupation to an extent that he was unable to get married because she thought that marriage will hinder him from doing the best in his job. I think I should convince you guys to read Shadows in the Mist because this book not only advises us, as I said earlier, but it also makes us to be aware of what is going around in the society. It's like it's a real thing. And then it can be found online and it can be found in any bookshop in Kenya. Thank you guys. Bye.